Welcome back to Leafs Weekly, everyone. I'm Mackenzie and I'm joined by Thomas West, and we've got a lot to go over as the end of the regular season is wrapping up. As usual, we'll start with a little look at the standings. The Leafs are now locked into fourth place, and as predicted, that means we'll be facing off against the Barrie Baycats in the first round.
Yeah, should be a fantastic first round matchup. It is pretty much all but settled. There's a half a game wiggle room if the Leafs were to lose every single game, and the rest of this season, the Barrie Baycats were to win every single game. But it looks like that's going to be exactly what is locked in the Intercounty Baseball League. And that will be, Ryan and I talked about on the broadcast the other day, that'll be one of the most entertaining series in the first round with that pitching matchup. And it's been great games every time we've seen these two teams play.
Yeah, always really intense games. I'm excited to be watching those. But let's get into this week's games. So on Friday, the Leafs won 13-2 against the Hamilton Cardinals. And it was, a little bit of redemption from the week before. Our starting pitcher, Marek Deska, pitched very well, 3 shutout innings.
Yeah, Marek Deska was fantastic. 3 shutout innings and then also 6 strikeouts as well, which that's something that's great to see because Marek Deska, he might not make the starting rotation when it comes to the playoffs, but he will pitch and he will be a very important part of that Barrie Baycats series because he's probably the next guy in line if the starting pitcher doesn't have a great outing. But we have no idea what Damon Topley is doing with the lineup yet. Marek Deska will be really important. That was part of that 13-2 win over the Hamilton Cardinals. Connor Lewis was also 4 for 6. He had a couple of RBIs in that game, and Dylan Jacober as well, it should be noted. Jacober pitched 4 innings as well in that game. Although they didn't need great pitching in a 13-2 win, Dylan Jacober came in and he was great. He'll be another guy who's important in the playoffs for the Maple Leafs.
Lots of guys to look out for. And actually all 9 of our batters got on base as well and drew 10 walks, which is awesome. But then moving into the Saturday game, unfortunately, that was a tough loss to the Guelph Royals, 4-2. And Guelph starter Claudio Custodio picked up the win. But how do you think he compared to our starter Castro?
Yeah, well, it was comparable. Claudio Custodio has been the best pitcher, pretty arguably the best pitcher in the Intercounty Baseball League. Angel Castro is a guy we know. He got off to a slow start, but he's a guy who he puts in his work, and he might be the most passionate guy on the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. He loves this team, and he loves doing what he's doing, and what he was doing last game was really good. He pitched 6 innings, just gave up the 2 runs. That was a fantastic outing. But if you compare it to Claudio Custodio, he went 8 innings and gave up 3 runs as well and 11 strikeouts, and that's tough to beat. And the Guelph Royals will look at him as a guy in the playoffs, so it'll be really, really important. But the turning point in that game was the Grant Tamane injury at second base. And this is just devastating for the Toronto Maple Leafs. As we understand, he'll likely will be out for the rest of the year. He separated his shoulder. It was a ball to second base. There was 1 out. Runner came to third base. And then when Grant Tamane separated his shoulder at second base, the runner ended up coming home because Tamane was in a ton of pain on the ground at second base. And that ended up being the winning run in that ball game. So super unfortunate for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Damon Topley was on Twitter after the game as well. He said, he was really proud of the way that his team hung in that game. And that's the kind of intensity that we'll see in the playoffs from the Toronto Maple Leafs. And although they do come away with the loss, it's not extremely consequential in the end, as they are going to be in 4th place in the Intercounty Baseball League come playoff time.
Yeah, definitely a very unfortunate loss just when it was that close. But then moving into Sunday, a bit more good news. We blew the Brantford Red Sox out of the water, 18-5. And this is where we clinched the home field advantage for the first round of the playoffs. Now, obviously, we have to talk about Jonathan Salazzo as he really stood out with those 2 huge home runs.
John Salazzo may have hit the longest home run that I've ever seen at Christie Pitts. And if you're familiar with the ballpark, there's a little league diamond out there in right field, and he hit it to right field on the little league diamond. So that shows you how far that was. And I wish we had a tape measure on it because that was a really far home run. And then he came up the next inning with the bases loaded and did the exact same thing, except this time it counted for 4 RBI. So John Salazzo was the Pennies player of the game. He had a monster night. Part of that 18-5 win over the Brantford Red Sox. Now, Brantford's a team that's been struggling. They've now lost 14 games in a row, all by letting up 10 runs from the other team at least. So it has been a tough go to finish things out for the Brantford Red Sox. No question about that. The Salazzo home runs came as part of an 8-run 7th inning, both of them. And then Marcus Connect did something as well. John Salazzo and Marcus Connect had a phenomena as well that I don't think we've ever seen in the Intercounty Baseball League. John Salazzo hit 2 home runs in the same inning. Marcus Connect got hit by a pitch 2 times in the same inning, which I think is just an insane phenomenon. Shout out as well to Dawson Parks, who collected his first 2 IBL RBIs for the Toronto Maple Leafs, one on a bloop double that he cashed in, 1 run and one on a bases loaded walk. And then Franklin Hernandez struck out 5 in 2 innings. He's just been insane with the strikeouts. Came in, finished out the ball game. Did not care that the score was 18-5. He was gunning 100%. Only faced 7 batters. The only guy that reached was on an error. And Franklin Hernandez has been dominant, and that continued against the Brantford Red Sox as part of that 18-5 win.
Yeah, definitely a nice little confidence boost of a game. And I actually got to talk to Marcus Connect afterwards. So we'll hear from him next. And Marcus, welcome back for your second kind of stint with the Leafs. Against the Panthers, you hit a great 2-run home run. How did it feel to hit that in your first game back?
It's nice to help the team win. Nice to do it in a big situation like that. It's been a while since I hit a ball like that, so it's good to get back to it.
A bit of a confidence boost for sure.
Yeah. I try not to let my confidence waver.
Perfect.
But yeah, it's nice. It felt nice.
Yeah. And then I know you were coaching in the States.
Yeah.
So how does that kind of experience help you perform on the field?
Around baseball every day, I'm teaching the guys, the things I know about hitting, and I'm just in it. So my mind's in it. I'm seeing pitches throw. So it really wasn't. I was staying in shape, so it wasn't really difficult.
And it makes the transition easier, I bet. And then I know that the team's kind of similar to last year. You're coming back to some of the same guys. Was there anyone in particular that you missed playing with?
Missed playing with? A lot of guys. Most of those guys. Castaldo, Richardson. Was playing with Carrington, Demara's, Classic. I'd go where they go. So we're all pretty tight on this team. We've been playing together for a while, so it's always good to be back home playing.
It's good to hear. Thank you so much for chatting with me, and good luck with the rest of the season. So great getting to hear from Marcus. And we actually have another special guest coming on, one of the Bushmen. I'm sure you've heard some of their chirps. This is what Jordan Castaldo had to say about them.
One thing I want to know, Jordan, you got a crowd of fans out there in left field in the Bushmen, and they're heckling the other team all the time. Do you guys hear that when you're on the field, or is that something you just kind of tune out?
Oh no, we absolutely hear it, and I absolutely love it. They're fair with their chirps, which is great. They do their homework, they come prepared, but they're not offside. They're usually really clever with them. And they're huge fans of us. We love the support. I mean, just look down there. It's got to be 25 of them down there.
Oh yeah.
And they're here every game.
All right, we're now joined by Elliott Hill, one of the guys that you see down the left field line on the Bush. Elliott, it's awesome having you on. I hope you're doing well. Tell me a little bit about the guys down the left field line who we call the Bushmen.
There's not a lot to tell. We're just really big fans of the Leafs. We've been following them for about 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. And it's just really great baseball. It's a whole lot of fun. It gives us a chance to, be out on a Sunday afternoon, have a few pops, and get a little creative and yell at strangers. That's always two of my favorite things that I've ever done: yelling and drinking in a park.
I do notice that you guys come up with really creative chirps, and I wouldn't say like any of them are rude. If anyone's kind of come out to the park, I'm sure they've heard you. How do you guys come up with that stuff? Like, how much work goes into it?
A lot of it's actually kind of like, I don't know if anyone's ever been in a writing room where you kind of workshop an idea. Someone will yell something out and we'll kind of go with it. One of the more famous ones we do is with Braden Farrington. We were yelling a bunch of stuff at him, wasn't getting at him, and then someone yelled that he had a really yellow glove that looked like mustard, which transformed into mustard glove. And then, oh, you're a crummy Dijon. It's way too grainy. You're not French's. You're no name. So typically we just try and workshop it. And then the big thing for us is keeping it clean. Because, it's a family event. Like, there's a lot of young kids there, volunteer kids getting the balls and stuff. So we don't want to be those guys up on the hill yelling swear words and stuff. So we try and keep it clean, and we try and be as entertaining as possible. And honestly, with the product of the IBL, it's very easy to come up with some creative chants and really get after some guys. But it's just us having fun up there, which is what I think the IBL is all about.
Elliott, throughout this entire season, I've noticed that the amount of Bushmen out on the hill is growing and growing on Sunday afternoons. Yeah. What's this recruitment process like for getting people as part of the Bush there on the hill?
Well, it's funny. It's actually over the last couple of years, we noticed people weren't sitting close to us because apparently they were intimidated. We thought we were just too loud. But over the last couple of years, we've definitely had a few people join in with us. There's some couple great guys, Brad and Zach, who now sit in front of us, who are just joined with us, and they've been fantastic. But really, it's just a bunch of people discovering how much fun the IBL is, and how great a league this is. And honestly, where's a better place to spend a Sunday afternoon or a Wednesday night than at a park with your friends, watching some great baseball and, just having a general good time. So we've definitely drawn in a lot of new recruits this year, and they're all learning how to yell. So, get the training process up. They're getting involved, which is good. But mainly it's the product on the field and just the fun you can have while you're there.
Elliott, I can't let you go without a little bit of baseball analysis here from the Bushmen. We saw a home run just a couple days ago from John Salazzo that I think may have been the furthest ball I've seen hit. Have you seen one further hit than that?
I don't think so. That was just an absolute hammer fist. There's only one other home run that we saw. Unfortunately, it was hit by Cleveland Brownlee that maybe had a chance to be as good. Cleveland's was straight out to center field, but that Salazzo one was just mammoth in size. Oh, man, that had to have been like 460 feet. Just wallpapered. But that's the conductor. He's out working the rails all night, steps up and takes that train power and puts the ball in play. I love it.
Yeah, there you go. That's John Salazzo, 2 home runs in that inning as well. Hey, Elliott, thanks for doing this, and enjoy the Bushmen on the hill for the rest of the season.
This is a bit different for me. Normally when we do our podcast, I'm drinking a beer, but as we are doing it in the morning, I thought the Tim Hortons was more appropriate.
Thanks, Elliott.
Right on, guys.
So great getting to chat with Elliott, and let's get into the upcoming games. It's the last week of the regular season for us. We have a match against the Kitchener Panthers, then the Brantford Red Sox, and finally, we're back at home Sunday against the London Majors. To stay up to date on everything Maple Leafs, follow along on our socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you again very soon.
When this is edited together, we're coming out of the clip of Jordan Castaldo.
Okay.
Talking about you guys on the broadcast.
Oh, yeah. Our buddy sent us a clip of that. He couldn't make the game. He's like, Castaldo gave us the shout out.
I know, because I went to Castaldo and I was like, oh, like, do you like hear them on the hill? And he was like, yes. Like that was the most adamant he was about any question.